Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host, Muhammad Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia. On this episode, we have a special guest, Spencer Hsu, and he is known as Tech Realtor in Bay Area, San Francisco, California, Silicon Valley. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Spencer Hsu. Spencer, welcome.
It's good to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Great starting day with me today. I'm so honored for this. So let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to get into real estate?
Well, honestly, there wasn't too many specific people, and that's the beauty of today's environment, right? Like you have a great show like yours, but there's a lot of great podcasts, there's a lot of great forums, and it was really seeing, just kind of passively hearing what others have been doing. Because my family is not a family of entrepreneurs. I'm the very first person that has ever done our own business, but I get inspiration from a lot of other people. So it was actually through the passive absorption of that. And then also ultimately thinking, why not me? Why can't I do what they're doing? And then I also felt, I think I can do it better. And so through that kind of passive absorption over the years, that allowed me to be able to make the transition into doing what I'm doing, but also doing very well with what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. So what sets you apart from other realtors as being a tech realtor,
Yeah, so there's a lot of realtors, period, right? Getting a realtor's license is not hard. It takes about 3 months if you want to, commit your time to. So there is millions of realtors all over the country. In the Bay Area, especially with what the prices are, there's a much higher density than most markets in the country. Yeah. And so how does one differentiate or compete? At the same time, I found that there is a lot of still holes in the area of someone being much more analytical about their approach, a lot more. The mix of using data and the mix of the art of negotiation, so the skill of an art and science, it's actually very, very limited in this business. And I knew that because I had a lot of exposure to a lot of other realtors, but I also had a lot of exposures to clients that felt they could need and get that value add. And so that is where I saw a big opportunity for myself to be able to enter in the market, in a very competitive market. And the brand of Tech Realtor goes in several different ways. On one end, my approach, and as people engage with me, is very patient, but it's also very analytical and process oriented. Not many realtors have that mindset or that discipline. And so it's one way, it's a branding play. The other way is, the reality is, most of my clients are more technical, whether it's engineers, data scientists, physicians, mid-level execs in the Bay Area, and they value that kind of framework than a pushy kind of salesperson.
I like the last statement, pushy like a salesperson. So in 2020, that I read your profile very carefully. You said you helped 35 families to move into their dream home and something, while everybody else is complaining about COVID, that requires a different mindset. What is that?
Exactly. There's two ways to look at it, and make no mistake, COVID is a terrible thing. However, there's two ways to look at it. You can either, complain and think the world is ending, or you realize when things are not good, that is actually the greatest time for change and greatest opportunity to change. Think about the last recession, and think about this last event. There's a lot of companies that came from it. The most valuable companies today, a lot of people gained a lot of market share, like myself. So I thought, like, well, I can control what I can control. I can't control what the government wants to do. I can't control when we get vaccines, but I can control my own efforts, and I can continue to add value however I can. And so that's actually when I went even more so all in on digital, including on YouTube. So video content, podcasts like these were a huge value add for myself, but also for my clients and future clients, and that did really well. So it's more about the discipline of saying, you know what, you can't control any of those other things anyways. This is the new game. This is the new normal. But if you're willing to adapt to it, not a lot of other people are. And so it's a time to land grab market share, which is what happened in 2020 and what's going on in 2021.
Yeah, amazing mindset, Spencer. So what are the top 3 mistakes to avoid when it comes to real estate?
When it comes to real estate in general, I think there's several. I would say the number one thing that people make a mistake on is not doing the proper interviews and doing the due diligence of the realtor themselves. So number one, I mentioned there are a lot of realtors out there because anyone can get a license. It's not hard. It's easier to get a license than to get a high school degree. So it's very important to understand that just because you're a realtor, it's not like as skilled of a profession of getting like maybe a computer science degree, right? I'm going through a lot of hard work to get that. So it's a very different step in terms of where the starting point is of what's a good realtor. So the starting point is not by license, is by production. So anyone that's considering to buy or sell, like if their friends or family is telling them, hey, look, you should use me, and they do like one deal a year, I'd be extremely careful, especially there is a lot of skill in this business. There's a lot of strategy, there's a lot of knowledge, and production is the thing that matters. A very easy example is this. If you're going to play a tennis match, would you be afraid of playing against somebody that plays one time a year? Or would you be afraid of playing somebody that plays, in my case, 35 times a year, right? I would certainly be way more afraid, and I would rather have that as my teammates of somebody that does that much, right? And it's the same idea. Any discipline, whether it's real estate, which is hard to do 35, but any sport, same idea. Practice and actual matches in their case provide is a very, very big difference of skill there. So that's number one, is make sure you do the due diligence of looking at their traction. You can simply do that online. Just go on realtor.com as an example. All transactions will be public there. So if you look at their profile, you can see it all. So it's not a hidden thing. So do your due diligence. If they don't do at least 10 a year, they're not really full time. And I'd be very, very wary, especially in the Bay Area where the average price point is 1.3 million, to trust that amount of money for someone that doesn't know what they're doing. So I would say that's number one. Number two is most people are a little bit afraid of getting pre-approved first, and they think it's like some kind of massive step just because it hits their credit. But the reality is you don't want to. It's not just wasting time, but you might get the wrong expectations. So, rather than guess of what you can buy up to, reach out to me. I can introduce you to trusted lenders. There are no costs related to this. But if you're about to search, you might as well just see what you're pre-approved for. And then you know what your ceiling is. And then you can lower, you can search underneath. Because many times some people think they may be able to pre-approve for more or less. And then they spend all this time on research. And then they get pre-approved. And then they realize, wait a second, I just wasted all this time. Because the last thing about the journey is real estate fatigue is real. As much as people may like to casually browse, people do get burned out because it is a marathon for some people. And it's very important to understand, at least when people work with myself, is, I tell everybody the same mindset, which is on one end, you want to be patient because you don't know how many properties come on the market. You don't know when the property you like is available. You also don't know if you'll even win the property because you're not the only person bidding. And at the same time, it's being ready. So all finances being ready, mentally being ready to move forward. So there's a lot of just the mindset that needs to take place when it goes through the real estate journey. And you don't want to have any unnecessary fatigue when it comes to the process.
Number three.
Oh, the number three was being patient and being ready.
Being patient, being ready, and that's so wonderful. You are as per your LinkedIn, you are the top 1%, and you are sharing your all the wisdom with us today. And what are your top three success secrets being a solo tech realtor and also becoming a top 1%? I'm sure you have so many success strategies in your business. Just give us only top three.
Yeah, so the top three I would say is combination. Is one, you want to leverage your time yourself. So if you feel like you're expanding, you're going quickly, and you can't kind of juggle it all, then either automate it, find out solutions to automate things, or hire it out. And one of the things that I did kind of a little bit slow, but it's okay, it's a lesson learned, is hiring an assistant. There's a lot of things that the assistant can do to help you that you may not realize, and so you should hire that out. As soon as you have some good amount of traction, so that way it'll allow you to focus on other projects, but also bigger things.
Yeah.
So that's number one. Number two is, you think about this environment, it's important for everybody to be a lot more digitally savvy. So whether that's, in this case, podcast, your own YouTube channel, social media in general, you should have a strategy for that. So, while I post a lot of content, there's a plan in place. So everybody should have some sort of plan of like what's coming out next week, what's coming out the following week. Those are very, very key things in this environment. And a lot of people are searching for answers on these platforms. So be sure to leverage all of those if you're not already doing it. But if you haven't started any of them, just focus on one, do really well as much as you can for a long time on one, and then you can add another, medium to that page. And then the last, but certainly not least, is related to discipline. So while we're all, either solo or just entrepreneurs in general, as you can imagine, our days could be pretty random and pretty hectic. We're always, in a sense, will have fires to put out. However, what I've seen of the most successful people is there is a routine in general of things that are done. Whether in my case, it's prospecting and finding new leads. Otherwise, it's maybe a few hours of just general business planning, right? Put it in your calendar and block it off. And if you have to move it, make sure it's moved to another time slot so you don't skip it altogether. That discipline in this kind of crazy world that we live in that environment, will go a long way. Otherwise, if it's not on the calendar, time goes by quickly, and you may miss it altogether. And some things are very critical to do. So it's very important to be organized, be disciplined, have it on the calendar of key things that you need to do. And those have helped me be, more disciplined, but also more grounded. I know what I'm doing today. I know what I'm doing tomorrow. And that'll help a lot of people.
Great advice. I appreciate everything. So how the growth hacking secrets community can support you, people who are watching this?
Yeah, I mean, anyone tuning in, if anyone knows of anybody considering to buy, sell, or invest in the Bay Area, please think of me. That'll be amazing. You can also just follow me on Instagram. So it's Bay Area Tech Realtor if you want to follow me there and see what I do on a daily basis, or feel free to connect. But that would be amazing if anyone knows anybody here.
Yeah, Bay Area
Tech,
Real.
yeah.
Okay, I'm going to follow you myself too. So here you go. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So go ahead and Instagram. So follow Spencer on that one and keep watching his great content. I looked at his YouTube. It's really passionate to share, and so we can avoid our mistakes and our whatever we want to do in our life. So is there something which I have not asked and you like to share?
No, I think you have a way to get a hold of me. I respond to everything. So if anybody's looking to buy or sell real estate in the Bay Area, happy to have a conversation. But if you want to DM me on Instagram as well, talk about anything, I reply to everybody. So feel free to message me with any questions or thoughts you guys have.
Wonderful. Spencer, I like to ask this question to my every guest, and here's my question. It's on your screen too. What would you say to your best friend about a growth hacking secrets? That's a show name which you are on right now when I'm not there.
I mean, these are wonderful podcasts for people to tune in on, especially for me. I drive a lot, or whether I go for a run. I mean, podcasts are a really, really different medium than it was in the past. And so, podcasts like these are great to tune into. You can listen to it passively, you can listen to it in bulk. They're not very long, as you can see, of 15 minutes. But it gives you the mentality of what other professionals and what other entrepreneurs are doing. And hopefully you can take a few of those nuggets each time. And the last thing is key, execute on a few of those nuggets. Don't just listen to what we have to say. See a few of these items and actually execute and add it to your game plan. And that's what I found very, very successful over the years.
Thank you so much for your kind words. Spencer, what would you say as a final word?
Final words is, just stay focused, stay disciplined. Hopefully we're at the end, closer to the end to the beginning of this, as the vaccines are being rolled out. But it's very important to stay disciplined, keep working on what you can control, and good things will play out, because all the hard work, people may not notice it, but when things are open again, those that put in the work, like myself and others, will do phenomenally well.
Understood. Good things will come out. Thank you so much. On the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets and our team and our whole community, we really appreciate you, Spencer Hsu. This is Muhammad Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. All good wishes.
Thank you. Bye now.